My friends, welcome to this massive Talk Casual. Big news out of Gen Con earlier this morning or evening for you American viewers.
Yes.
As always, to the left of me is the dancing monkey himself, Ian, and our 2.0 expert, the Wild Space Fringer himself, Josh.
We pulled him from deep space.
Deep space.
Is anyone an expert yet?
Space.
Or
Yeah.
is anyone an expert yet? Or
You're our expert.
Yeah, you're
it.
expert.
You're-
We play-
we
we
call
play
him-
Armada.
I'll take it whilst I can.
Yeah.
Until everybody else.
As always, it's the Grand Master of Salt himself, Marzol, will be hosting tonight. So Ian, what's on tonight's menu?
Tonight's menu, believe it or not, I don't think we have any salt this week, do we?
No,
We don't have any
I am
salt?
all funds up.
Wait,
We're actually
I can
99.
take that smile off your face a little bit.
Oh, you could? Let's see what happens. But
So
I,
we'll
I
talk-
think we are a 99% salt-free zone or reduced salt episode.
I'd
this
say
time.
so myself. I am very happy.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Gen Con's obviously released a lot of stuff for X Wing.
In-flight report.
I think there was something about Armada. I don't know.
it
They've
might
been
be.
ignoring. There might be. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll
see
save
if we get
we'll
to it.
save Armada for last now.
Yeah, we'll
but
save Armada for last because
Yeah.
it's going to be so small.
yeah.
Yeah, not much to talk about with Armada.
Small.
Small.
So,
Yeah.
what did we get in X Wing 2.0?
X Wing 2.0. Well, I'm going to flick over to here. And starting off, alrighty, X Wing 2.0. We have been told we have conversion kits for the Resistance FO and for the
So
Resistance and the FO.
So this
stuff.
is Wave 2 now with the conversion kits.
This
for
is
the
Wave 2, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's Wave 2 now, and then now the Resistance and the First Order, and now they're in separate factions.
So we've got. So what do we get? We've got so FO. Nothing's changed about the FO. I don't think we've got anything new coming out for First Order, have we?
No, similar to the TIE Fighter. The original TIE Fighter, how it didn't change much for second edition. I'm pretty sure. Well, we haven't seen much yet, obviously, but
I don't think we've seen much of that.
yeah.
The big news though for the Resistance was that they're getting A-wing.
Yes, the RZ2.
Yeah,
Yep.
we get a ship that can shoot backwards.
Yes,
A-wings to shoot backwards.
finally.
I've been wanting that for ages.
That makes sense. It's
Yes.
canon. It's canon.
It's
Yeah.
canon.
Although we didn't see it in the movie, but it's canon.
It's canon. Yeah, they said they could rotate. Well, they just look at it. You look at the model. They look like they could rotate.
It makes
you know?
sense,
It
yeah.
just makes sense. Oh yeah. Why wouldn't you push a button to shoot out your ass? It's just.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd do it all the time if I could. I do. With that as well, the RZ2, it's a little bit longer than your normal A-Wing, so the model itself should be a fair bit different.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's to
Bit
help
bigger.
differentiate between the two.
Well, that and the filming model was bigger anyway, so
Yeah,
and
yeah.
different paint job, obviously. I'm pretty sure the guns actually swivel on it too.
Ah, nice.
On the model,
Oh,
yeah.
on the model,
Pretty
really?
sure they swivel. And so obviously it's got the 180 degree, normal 90 degree arc out the front, and then it's got a mobile arc sort of indicator to flip it to the rear,
Flip it to the rear, yeah.
which we assume will be an action or something, or maybe even like a speed linked thing. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'd love if it was like some type of linked action or something. You know?
That'd be cool. Like if you go
Take a stress, get a
take an
target off the
evade and
rear
get it,
or-
maybe.
Evade.
That'd be kind of
Well,
cool.
actually, no, probably a barrel roll and no, actually, what would be better? Yeah, like a barrel roll. Probably not a boost, but more like a crap. He's behind me, barrel roll, and then link into rotate to the rear, shoot behind me,
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah, I can see that.
I wouldn't mind that. That would be nice. That would be like a that. I don't know. That seems like pilot-ish to me.
That would
Yeah.
be good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, barrel roll it into a
Yeah.
and reverse the arc. That's what I want to see.
For most ships as well, I think pretty much all of these have got 4 pilots, so 2 generics, 2
Yep.
named. For the A-Wing, there's Tali, which is the chick talking to
The chick,
Poe
yep.
in the movie.
Which
Yep.
sadly she doesn't get enough time.
Yep, she's
Yeah.
in
She
a coffin now,
In
probably.
that A-wing, gives that thumbs up,
And then
Obliterated.
kaboom.
All across the windscreen.
that's a shame.
Yeah, but hey,
Real waste there.
The question,
Real waste.
the real question is if she's going to be I5 or I6. A lot of people, there's an interesting thread on the forums that's been going for a while,
Yeah.
trying to figure out if she's going to be an I5 sort of support ship or an I6 ace. With what we've seen in the conversion kit for Poe, I don't think she'll be 6. I think
I don't think
No.
she'll be 6. No, she'll be 5 at the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Four wouldn't surprise me, but I reckon at the most she'll be 5. Like 6s are meant to be rare,
Yeah, exactly.
so I really doubt we'll see a 6.
She didn't do much in the film anyway.
No, exactly.
She just screamed at it to release your bombs, and that's it. And then said,
Bombs
bombs away.
away.
Bombs away. That's all she said.
Yeah.
So
That's all she needed to do.
that's it.
She did her job.
Yeah, she was good. No, it's, yeah, she was.
leading-
Wasn't she an Aussie?
Don't know.
Was she or something? I can't remember.
Don't think so.
Don't no.
I know. I think I stalked her on.
Robert
I
says
can't
she's a 4.
It sounds like something you'd do.
apparently.
remember. Apparently she's a 4. Okay. Yeah,
What, just out of
Ian
10,
just
or?
makes
'Cause I'm pretty sure you can't say that.
sure- Yeah.
Okay, no, it's good to know. 4's cool.
Four's
Okay,
good,
that's
huh? Yeah,
middle
yeah.
ground, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and take a stress to rotate apparently is something that's come out. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
speaking on with the conversion kits as well, you know how with second edition, the designers have been talking about faction identity.
Yep.
And how the rebels will sort of sacrifice themselves to help each other. So selfless, the ability was sort of like a pseudo-Biggs. The Imperials have ruthlessness because they're not afraid to throw numbers at it and get the job done, as Miles knows. And the Scum will do sneaky tricks and do a bit of everything to each other.
There's 3 Nesses in the game. Each faction has its own Ness.
Yes. So, the 2 for these guys, Heroic. For
Heroicness?
Well, sure. I'm pretty sure the card's called Heroic, but yeah, same deal.
Still heroic.
Don't know what that does. But the First Order have...
means lose half your fleet, but
fanatical.
make sure you win the battle.
The First Order are fanatical.
Yep.
Now, somebody did see what this says, and it's when you don't have any shield tokens, you may change an eyeball to a hit. Charge them in. I mean, tie foes, you got to drop that first shield, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
tie foes only have 1 shield.
Depending on what sort of tech upgrades we get, if they're similar to First, probably not, because they're trying to get away from token
Chuck it on
stacking
quick draw.
free. Well, God knows if quick draw is even going to get 2 attacks anymore. So.
Yeah.
And speaking of the First Order as well, big news, Kylo's not 6 anymore.
No.
That's disappointing.
That ship's going to be very different. We already knew about the model and the changes to that. The fact that it has missiles in the show and the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, has it got missiles now?
Don't know. Well, we can't see if it. No
Well,
slots.
it'd be nice if it did.
No
Yeah.
slots.
Again,
It would make
Well,
sense.
they fixed the TIE Striker, so
Yeah.
now it's got bombs in it.
Exactly. So I think this is going to be closer to what we
the
see in the
Striker bombs,
movies.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got bombs now.
Oh.
Yeah.
And gunners.
I got to start looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
Gunners to do freaky bomb dropping stuff.
Pretty bomb dropping.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
But they're the same price as generic interceptors as
Yep.
well. So anyway, but that's
Yeah,
old news
that's
now.
old
Who cares
news.
about Wave
Yeah,
1?
It's news to me.
Wave 1, second edition.
This is
That's-
why we're getting the X Wing expert.
That's-
Wave
We've
1
been
comes
too-
out
we've been
tomorrow.
too hard.
Yeah, we've
As
been
far as
busy.
everyone's concerned.
We've been busy with some other
Yeah.
game with Star
Yeah, it's other
Wars,
game no one
with bigger
likes.
ships.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So the interesting thing with that is now if a Kylo isn't a 6, our First Order going to 1 have any 6s? 2, is it going to be quick draw? It's not going to be a Mega Leader. We've already seen that. Oh no, sorry, no, a Mega Ace or somebody, whoever it was. They're only a 5 or
There
a
we
4
go.
or something as well. It's going to be very interesting. They did speak about in the early days of Resistance sort of focusing on the individual as well. So having like your Poe as you push the limit ace. Yeah, Poe's got push the limit, by the way. Just old push the limit. Do an action, do another one, get stress. Like that's one. That's first.
Is that going to be like
push
any
limit.
action, or is it again? It's a link. Like just like all actions are linked, or he's just ability to just do a second action, take a stress.
It depends a lot because we're still trying to figure out if an action is like the first action and then the linked action, or if it count as 2 separate actions. Depending on the wording and that'll change a few things as well.
I still want to know if
Interesting.
the Dan sensor says do 1 action. What if I do a linked action?
Well, that's
Actual link,
exactly
that's what I know.
that's yeah.
I
Is that one
assume,
action?
I assume advanced sensors are going to do something in the rules where it says you can do just the 1 action, you can't do its follow-up with a linked
Yeah.
action.
Exactly.
But that's what I want to know. Like, you know, like A-Wings with the vector thrusters, I think it is. After, okay, cool, advanced sensors, you can do a focus, but then you can do a barrel roll, I think, after it.
Yeah, it's only barrel rolls for
No, it's
A-Wings.
boosts.
No, barrel.
A-Wings do boost, and barrel rolls are interceptors, and
No, other way around. Interceptor's a barrel. Yeah.
interceptors get both.
Sorry, interceptors are
Interceptors have both, yeah.
A-Wings are just barrel roll.
I thought A-Wings were just boost.
Pretty sure they're just barrel roll.
They-
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
1.0 they used to just have boost, not
They
barrel.
used to have
Yeah,
boost, they didn't have
I
barrel
know.
rolls.
Yeah, that's why.
Maybe
it's
they
weird,
changed it
if I
to-
remember.
Yeah.
You can look it up, but I can't remember. But yeah, that's gonna be fun anyway. But yeah, so the other thing between the Poe T70 floppy wings, floppy scissor wings.
Yes, they actually.
So
have
I
one of
need
those.
like another 4 of those.
Naturally.
Doing
You've already
this
got 4, but you know, you need 4 with moving wings.
We've got 2 other named pilots now as well.
Yep.
I've forgotten the names of them.
Yeah.
But they obviously we didn't have canon
Because their names
back
don't
in the
matter, because
movies.
Poe's probably going to be the only good one. But so Poe doesn't have his original ability with the focus
No,
and everything.
it's
That's
just
all
push the
gone.
limit.
See, to be honest, thinking about it, I'd rather have that ability than have push the limit.
But you know what else they have, and this is very strange, not something I would have expected. But they have was it upgraded arsenal, something like that. It's the same as the sick. Or psych, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So where you can
we
equip,
call it sick here.
You can sick.
Fully sick.
Fully sick.
Fully sick, mate.
You can equip a cannon, a missile, or a torpedo.
Wow, you can put the cannon on a T70?
Yeah. Now, unless it's meant to
See,
represent.
that doesn't feel
That's what I
right.
thought. That's what I read. Now.
I would have
whether or
said
not
that the cannon, I
someone's-
think the cannons are crap in 2.0 anyway.
Yeah, well, that. But unless it's to represent that dorsal turret thing that came underneath. But that's that was never meant to be a big weapon.
That's more like an illicit, that's more like Hot Shot
Yeah,
Blast.
yeah,
exactly.
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Whether I've read the wrong thing on it, maybe I'm not the expert. Kill me in the comments if I'm not.
Yeah.
But,
Wait, you're not the expert?
You're the expert? What are you doing here then?
yeah, I
Oh,
snuck
God.
in. I rolled all those evades and snuck right under your nose.
Ah.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting. But as well as your conversion kits, you've also got... Now guys, just hold on to this. Dial upgrades.
Dial upgrades.
FO
Yeah,
and
they're
resistance,
in the
yeah.
pictures right here. I've got them in the pictures
Yeah.
loaded up.
That's kind of
Dial
cool.
upgrades, so
It's kind of cool. A lot of people are wondering about that. What I want though,
yeah, I'm really going to buy those.
well, it makes.
I'm
I
a
feel bad for all
completionist, but
those-
I'm not that much of a completionist.
all those people who painted the Rebel dial cover to look like Poe. You have to do it again, but
yeah, someone
slightly
didn't do
different.
that, did he?
I didn't do the dial.
Oh, you didn't do the dial?
I did do an X Wing before
sure
they
you can
announced
still
it.
use
Oh, you
it.
did?
I'm sure you could. It's
Yeah.
the same
I
icon,
couldn't.
it's
It's
just
not a
orange,
big deal.
That's it.
which you've already painted it orange. Anyway,
And-
not the point.
And I also called it. I'll move to the next ship.
Yes.
I called the Scum TIE Fighter.
Yep. I'll bring that up.
I
now.
called it and I said, yep, this is going to happen.
Yep.
Everyone
We got the
gets a
Scum
tie.
Fighter.
You see, I'm not happy about it. It feels like a waste.
Yeah.
They could have, like, one of the things we've been hanging out for is the Gauntlet Fighter, like the big Fang Fighter, like the large.
Yeah, the
base
one with the crew, basically another shuttle, but yeah.
Well,
everyone gets ties now.
The trouble is though, does looking at in 1.0, did Scum really need another large base ship?
That exactly. So,
That I think that's what held it back. Who knows? Maybe we'll go on the medium base now.
but like, if you want one of these already, just chop some wings off your tie, spray paint them yellow.
Yeah,
I know, and
I can't do that.
I think a few people did that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
So,
quite a few people did that.
Apparently, these ties can go over asteroids and rocks.
Yeah,
yes, I
they
did
don't
hear
care
about
rocks.
that.
Yeah,
That's, that's what I heard.
That is
Well, you
pretty
see, they've got those lovely little grooves in the wings, so that way they're
You can see the rocks.
They're skewing around the rock. Yeah,
that's the thing. You can see the rocks.
you can actually see the
It's,
rocks.
it's like the Stormtrooper syndrome that's stuck down the middle.
So in war, the mining guild ties are supposed to be, because they have the less power. The actual the solar panel is supposed to be less powerful than an actual TIE fighter.
It's like
So probably
it's like
doesn't move as
selling
fast.
a
Yeah,
semi-auto as opposed to an automatic to civilians, isn't it? Like, well, I'm not going to get into that, but it's almost like
Government control again.
Yeah, started something.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah, that's I don't know. I just think they could have done something else. There's so much other cool stuff happening and coming, and yeah, I don't know. I could have done
Other
without
cool
it.
stuff.
Well, they needed new stuff for the old players to get into something. So, granted, yeah, they could have gone for the big concrete.
Yeah, but is a yellow tie really going to get old players in?
Well, you wait till we. Okay, so let's propose this. Let's have a three-player free-for-all. Imperial player brings a TIE swarm. Rebel player brings all the named TIE Rebel pilots, and then Scum brings a swarm of Mining Guild ties. It's going to be interesting.
It's gonna be fun. I like
I
it.
mean, TIE swarms are a thing now. So
Yeah,
there will be
that's
again.
right. Absolutely.
Inferno Squad. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, definitely. He didn't even know what an Inferno Squad was.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I
I'm
didn't know
Chris
what
about on the
Inferno Squad
drive.
was.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's,
I don't read books.
And then
I don't read the books.
another massive news for X Wing as well too. It wasn't shown a lot.
Oh yeah, the other bit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Two more new factions.
I've only got a picture of one. I haven't got a picture of the other one, but apparently we're getting this ship now.
Yep.
We're getting
Clone Wars are
I don't
coming.
remember which movie that one's from.
That was from that one that no one admits exists.
Phantom Menace. He's
You know that thing that
Darth Maul.
Pod
Darth Maul
Racing
ship.
Simulator 2016.
you know, one of the only movies where you see someone actually kill Liam Neeson.
I like to forget that bit. That was the worst bit. Well,
Yeah.
not the best bit. Yes. So yeah, we're getting Clone Wars, guys.
Yeah.
Freak
We're
getting
out.
Clone Wars,
Commence
so-
freaking out.
So Jedi Starfighters, Naboo.
Jedi,
Ever since we got
Sith Traders.
Calculate and Force, basically gave it away. Like, let's be honest, that basically straight up gave it away.
I don't know if Force did, but I think when they were talking about Calculate and they were talking about droids, and I think that gave it away. I don't know about Force.
Well, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but there's
Probably
been a
not.
missing SKU for first edition for a long time. There was a thread in the forums the other day that basically identified the title of this never seen SKU.
Yep.
It's called Masters of the Force. Alright?
Masters of Force.
Something Force, something, I forget the exact words.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
terrible at my job, guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not the point. But the theory is, one, this either could have been a Clone Wars set, this could have been introducing the Force mechanic to first edition, so like new Vader, new Luke, new etc.
I don't think it was introducing Clone Wars, but it probably would have introduced Force.
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they scrapped it. Second edition happened.
Yeah.
And here we are. But obviously that's something they've been thinking about for a very long time. Now,
Yeah.
Clone Wars isn't coming to the game till next year. You'll assume there's going to be a new core set. Like that would make sense. There'd be more than just these two ships to
Clone
begin
Wars?
with.
Yeah.
No, I
No, I
don't
think
think
they'll release. I don't think they need.
they'll
a
do
new
a
Force
most
set.
wanted pack type scenario.
You think?
Yeah, because remember we've already got the
Oh
Ark.
wait, no,
that's it, though.
We've already got the Ark, so they'll have a conversion
Guys,
kit.
this is FFG. There'll be a core set.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be a core set.
Of course.
I'll bet right now there'll be the same damage deck. Though. I think they've got that right this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the same damage deck.
And the good thing is, for everyone who isn't a fan of Clone Wars, you don't have to buy it anymore. You're going to get all the cards eventually anyway. Like it's like for instance, I'm not really planning on getting the Mining Guild time. We're probably going to get less Scum now because they don't interest me as much.
Get
So
out.
you don't have to.
You've offended
Drew's
him.
faction.
That's it.
Get out.
So you don't know
Rebels.
you don't know X-Wing and you offended Ian. That's 2 strikes now.
Yeah, people, we're not going to get him back. Yeah, we're not going to get him back.
Hey, tough crowd.
So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the thing with that is as well. Like, so if you, let's say you do get another Corsair, we've got these 2 ships coming. You've got Naboo starfighters, you've got Arcs again, you've got armored Y-wings, you've got all the Separatist droid fighters, you've got Grievous, you've got Dooku's glidey thingy if you really want to get obscure. They also kind of hinted at it for Armada as well.
Yes.
Clone Wars, they hinted. They didn't
They
announce
hinted.
anything.
They're working on it apparently.
It's coming to Legion too.
Yeah, Legion and X-Wing are confirmed. Someone did, I think it was Krabak asked the question about Armada, and they're working on it apparently. So,
Okay.
Well,
watch
that
this
makes me
space.
happy. That means that Armada won't be a dead game after the SSD.
The Venators would be
Yeah,
sweet.
Venators.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That was a spoiler there.
Oh, what was that?
Wait, sorry.
Someone talk about it. Someone said
No,
Armada.
move on.
Oh,
Still
okay,
next week.
okay.
Still next week.
Yes, so the other fighter, which we don't have a picture for, that's the one that Obi-Wan flew in episode 2 specifically. So it's not
Basically,
the
it looks
one.
like an A-wing.
The Jedi
Yeah, basically,
starfighter.
yeah.
It's a pointier
yeah, it's not
A-wing.
the ETA.
No,
that's
it's not
the
the
one.
ETA,
So
yeah.
it's not the ETA.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are obviously the ones that Obi-Wan and Anakin fly in third
Revenge
edition.
of
Third
the
edition.
Sith.
Yes, thank you. The third
The
film.
only thing which I feel about though, with the clone, not clones,
Droids.
the separatists, the droids, they don't really have a lot of ships, do they?
In the show, they do have a few.
Yeah.
There's like a heavy bomber thing. There's
Yeah.
a regular fighter, and that could have all sorts of
Because they had the
different
fighter,
configurations.
they had that like other thing which was chasing down with red things. I think I saw
General
about
Grievous's-
4 or something.
General Grievous's little.
Oh, okay. I call that a stretch. His ship's a stretch to try and add
No,
something in.
it's
that'll come
it's
into the
actually in
game.
the Battlefront games. It's
Yeah,
actually
I know
The
his
claw
ship
fighter
coming,
sort of
but-
thing.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like it's got like the 3 wings.
Yeah,
over
there's
the
that thing.
And you know, so Nim, right? So Nim is from a game called Battle for Naboo,
Yep.
which is an old, sort of like, it was a precursor to Jedi Starfighter. That was a whole crap load of different droid ships and that
Yeah.
they could just rip out. They've already done Nim, like, which
Yeah.
surprised me honestly when they first did it.
Yeah.
So you know, they're not afraid to dip into that bucket
No.
if it's still canon, even if they're still allowed to anymore, I guess.
And of course, the
another
Clone Wars
question.
is coming out, so they'll bring out new stuff in there too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, there's only 12 episodes.
Yeah, but they'll.
Yeah,
they'll,
how many new
they'll
ships
find
are
a
going
way.
to stick in 12
They'll
episodes?
find a way.
Yeah,
Oh, wait. Disney wants to sell toys, don't
Yeah,
they?
that's it.
These are toys.
They'll find a way to sell you more
Um,
toys.
Real quickly though, on top of that, I was thinking about Anakin. How do you do Anakin? In assuming that all these factions can fight each other in tournaments, etc., etc. How do you change Anakin Skywalker from Darth Vader? Obviously, they're both going to have probably the same amount of force points. The Jedi Starfighter or whichever ship he ends up in is going to be very arc dodgy. You would assume.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's how the Jedi are going to work in this. They're all going to be real big arc dodgers with little health, but awesome abilities. So I was actually having to think about this. And I'm not sure, this will probably break the game a bit, but I'm just curious to get your guys' thoughts on this as well.
Yep.
If Anakin Skywalker in the ETA,
Yep.
what if he was a native I-7? The only one in the game, the entire game, if he was native I-7. No?
I don't think so. If Darth Vader's not native, like,
Well, you assume he's
Come on.
lost a bit of
it's
his
PS7
No.
now. Let's just get that sorted.
No.
initials.
Have you
It's
not?
PS.
Have you not seen Rebels?
Yeah.
He goes backwards and starts shooting everything,
Yeah.
and kills a whole squadron of A-wings.
He
No.
didn't do. He
Yeah.
didn't do that in Clone Wars.
He didn't lose any of his powers. God,
Yeah,
no.
he didn't lose any of his flying.
Well, not so much
ability.
powers, but like...
None of his flying ability. No.
Well,
The
actually, I
guy's-
think in other FFG games where they've had Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader in the same game, Anakin has never been as strong as Darth Vader in the latest.
Well, that's a very
series.
good point. But he was always
Yeah.
regarded as the best pilot.
It was always-
the
yeah,
best pilot.
well-
So that's the only reason I'm going for it. Like
Oh,
maybe
yeah, I see what you're
maybe
saying.
don't even give him an ability. Just give him a crap load of force points and that, and then
Yeah. Look
I
how,
cost it
look how cool
effectively.
Vader is.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. Just to keep it very different.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
also, and this is my personal favourite,
Yeah, yeah.
Naboo Starfighter. Make him about a 3 or a 4, right? Because you got a little orphan
Little
Annie in there.
little Annie.
Little orphan Annie.
Little Annie.
Barrel roll and delinked barrel roll. He's the only one that can do it. Heard it here first.
Yep. All right. Little Annie. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Try
coming.
spinning.
Think that's
a lot.
a good trick.
Make yourself halfway across the table.
The scariest thing of all, because FFG has shown that they do this, that they will do this with other games. That when we start doing this whole prequel thing, we are going to have Jar Jar in something.
Oh.
That scares me. Like you're going to rock up to a tournament, someone's going to have a Jar Jar Binks crew character.
Well, think about it. Hondo's in there. Hondo's in Armada.
Yeah, but Hondo's good.
Hondo's cool.
Hondo's
I
cool.
like Hondo.
You know,
Yeah.
it's Jar Jar.
Jar Jar's in Destiny.
Yeah, no, that's why I said they put Jar Jar in Destiny.
What was the crew in first edition that let you like space one of your crew members to get health back?
Moff Jar Jar.
Yeah, so let's make a Republic version of that, and let's make Jar Jar a courier droid or something. Just saying.
So we're
Give us the option, FFG. Come on.
Robert's given
no,
a no on 7 as well.
I think.
so.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I appreciate it's probably going to break a
Jar
lot of
Jar will
things.
not be in Armada,
No,
Rob.
you take that back, Rob.
take that
You
back.
take that back.
Oh, we're still going to block you, Rob.
Yeah.
Speaking of 7, though, like, if it was 7, you've already got Han that can shoot at 7, and you've already got supernatural reflexes that'll let Force users shoot at 7. That's why I think it's not too much of a stretch if you let him move at it as well. If he's got it in one of those Starfighters, right, he's going to have
Okay, you know what? I
yeah.
can see it being move at 7, but shoot at 6.
That could be interesting as
I
well.
could actually see that would actually be
Yeah.
a bit more interesting if you had something that can move. No matter what, he moves last. So best pilot, always moving last. But
You know what?
He shoots about the same time or less.
Make
or
it the
something.
baked-in abilities of that ship that you move one initiative higher than your actual thing, but you shoot at the same.
No, I'd
it's an
rather
easier
that
way to
just be-
ride it, and then
No, I'd rather that just
always...
be his ability. I'd rather that just be his ability.
No, that's fine. It's just a thought. Just given that, yeah, Han can do that. Supernatural reflexes can let you do that. There's already kind of a precedent. 7's obviously always going to be the high. It's like 12 for second edition. So
Yeah.
There's no way of getting 8 yet, is there?
no,
Nothing gets 8 yet.
no, just 7.
Yeah.
But even Raw can only give 7.
Yeah.
So.
Raw can only give 7, can it? Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just the precedent's there, but I appreciate it being the only... There's no way to counter it except for blocking, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if you had, like, no health and was costed effectively, appropriately, I don't know. I appreciate it's a stretch, but you wouldn't want him to have the same ability as Vader, that'd be boring.
No.
They'll do
It has to be
something.
It's done,
Has to
so...
be different.
It will be something different.
Anyway, enough about that.
So I think that's all the X Wing stuff we have for tonight.
Actually, one last point.
go ahead, man.
Kind of disappointed I didn't bring out any Epic news yet.
Yeah.
Like anything would have been nice, because I think they can do a lot with Epic.
I
They
love
can
Epic.
do a lot
I
now.
really do.
Yeah.
But when we that's why I play Armada. That's what the Marvel's
Yeah, well, true.
But no, I think Epic's probably once they get this sorted out. I don't know. Maybe next year we'll hear something for Epic.
They need support for Epic. That's the only way Epic will get off the ground.
And the big ships need to matter more. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, I've always found a way to make big ships matter more. I never had a problem making big ships work, but
No, it's
No, not so much work.
big
Like, they
ships are
can
fine.
work. Like the Harpoon missile boat Raider was a thing, and Zucker's crew before they nerfed it.
yeah, Zucker's crew, that was awesome.
Oh, on the Sea Ray.
Oh, that was great.
That was awful.
That was beautiful.
Like I was thinking, even if they put out like a Nebulon B, like if they wanted to go big, a Nebulon B that's dual faction, because the Rebels had those, the Empire had those.
so did they
Make
the
it work.
Corvettes too. So
And one theory I read, I thought this was really cool. Rather than having the cards and doing it that way, you have more of like a dashboard for the ship.
Neb for the Rebels, Architons for the Imperials.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
But one of the theories I've seen running around is that you have more of like a dashboard for your ship, so without it bogging down and becoming too much of like a resource management mini game, it's more of a case of you can direct things where they need to be. The ships are more, I don't want to say complicated, but just more detailed in terms of putting all that power into the engines, putting all that power into the front shields, putting all that power into the weapons. Multiple different moving arcs on the base. I think they can do a lot now. They might have brand new bases for them, and that could change things a lot as well.
Yeah.
And I think they need to do some combination of that, and maybe even more of an emphasis on generic fighters in it as well, and that sort of thing. So we can replicate our Rogue One battle. So we can have our Y-wings ion torpedoing a big ship and having it matter.
Yes, I want that to
Yes,
happen.
and then
I
so you
want to
have
see
to
that
stop
ability.
those Y-wings getting in there.
Yeah.
Maybe even introduce objectives if you really want. Like even so, like half kill the big ship, run away could be a thing with at least if there's any
true.
forces. I've been playing a lot of the old X Wing PC games again lately, and a lot of the missions are do this, run away with X amount of units and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So. Just ideas like FOG, if you're listening, which I doubt, but you might be.
Oh, they
Because
will.
we're
They
awesome.
will be.
Okay, good.
They
yeah.
will be.
I'm sure
Why
they
wouldn't
tune in.
They've
every
listened
Thursday.
too much of my salt. They released the
Look,
SSD.
Oh, they do. They listen to your
Get in
stuff,
contact with me. I have a 50-page design doc. We can talk. Just,
This guy.
Yeah.
To listen to this guy.
I want to help.
Hey, he's got a 3D printer and you can help with manufacturing.
Got over here.
Disney here. Anyway, on to the big news.
Yes.
Is it big news? Do you think
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely
I mean, for
massive
some.
news.
Does that look like big news to anybody?
Size doesn't matter, though, man. You know.
Size doesn't matter?
As Krennic said, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's,
And finally, we actually, after probably 6 or 7
I think
months,
I
we
think-
got news about something in Armada.
I think it's longer than that. Like, it was well before.
12.
I think it was somewhere in the first or second quarter. Was the last time we heard.
Last
anything about
preview was
Armada.
in January for the profundity.
Was it? That was it.
That was it.
And when that came out, when?
Yeah, January last year.
Yeah, it came out around that time.
Oh,
So
I'm so sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's been
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while since
It's been a
drinks.
while.
Been a lot between drinks, I see.
Yeah,
I understand.
so-
They've rewarded us with something big and frosty. So,
Oh, man.
you know,
So
this
finally-
is.
You are talking about the ship still, yes?
Yes, yes.
I believe so, yes.
So we finally get the SSD for Armada. My initial thoughts was when they said something big, I knew it was going to be.
It's big.
I knew it was going to be the SSD, but I just didn't think it was going to be actually the SSD because
Yep.
it was just a bit too big for Armada, and
Well, look at
The scale's still
look at
a little-
size scale.
yeah, the scale's a bit
They
off.
had to scale it a bit
Yeah.
though, because like if you compare the bridges on them both to
Yeah.
like the victory class, like
Yeah.
it's still not quite
Well,
there. But
the ISD's been scaled down as well too when it came out because when you get the Corvette, it doesn't fit in the bottom hanger.
Yeah, that was
so-
the first thing Mars did was he picked
Yeah.
up the Corvette and held it under the
ISD.
and to see if it would fit. And
No,
don't-
it doesn't fit. Even
so-
if you get a Rebellion Corvette, the actual board game, and try to put it under, that still doesn't fit.
Oh.
So
Hey, you did it with the Rebellion one too.
yeah,
Wow.
I
Oh,
even
yeah.
got the smaller Corvettes.
It's
would
all,
not
it's all
fit
about
there.
scale, but
So
you know,
yeah,
it's
they-
just a representation game. This
So
is not,
look,
not real thing.
for what they've done and being the biggest FFG claiming the biggest mini that they've
biggest
done.
miniature.
Yeah.
Miniature.
Which is a bit of an oxymoron.
Yeah, it is.
It's 40. It's like 40
Totally
centimeters
volume.
long as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that,
So, yeah.
about that big or
So yeah, it's
about that big or something.
it's really nice. And
There's a
it-
picture of a
it-
guy on stage holding
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
nice.
So one picture I haven't got here.
So
to load up.
it does look nice, and it does symmetry, look okay into scale.
Oh, it'll fit on the board. Like, I mean, how far is it going to deploy out though? Like, it's going to be
Well,
like.
if you have
It's
a look,
two
I
large
think it's-
bases
I think
apparently.
it's about two large bases, maybe.
Yeah.
It might be a bit more.
A bit more actually.
Did they
Yeah.
say-
'Cause that's a large
more.
base there, and then that would
You
be
can
a
see
large.
where the pegs end with the large one. There's obviously another one at the back there.
Yeah.
So.
You don't have an epic format for
No.
No.
So-
Well, this is interesting because they've hinted. It comes with 6 cards, 6
Yes.
chip cards.
Yep.
2 of them can be played in 400-point games.
Yep.
So what do the other 4 get to be used for?
It's a damn good question.
So
They're
yeah,
either going to be either like mission related, like Krillin Corvette,
Yeah.
Krillin campaign,
yeah.
or it's going to be something like
yeah, because one version is
an epic version.
comes with 22 hull, and that can be used in a 400-point game,
33 cards in a deck, yeah.
and then
Yeah, okay.
no, 52.
52.
Oh, okay. So
52.
it's bigger than. Yeah.
and
it's
then
bigger.
and then in the larger version there's 33 hull. So
Yeah, okay.
Ouch.
there's-
Yeah, I mean, I could see it for Corellian. I'm doing it. Corellian conflict.
yeah.
Yep.
That much health, if it was like to persist between battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it
you
could
got to do, you got to really fix, repair everything in that.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it
there'll
has-
probably be something new with this because Krillin conflict did need some fixing.
Yeah.
'cause,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
It-
let-
it's okay, but it needs fixing.
So let's go through for the actual.
Actually, the first thing I just want to point
Yeah.
out, looking at this photo here, I think this is going to be interesting because we're looking at the picture. You don't know until you get it in your hand, you put it in your table.
Yeah.
But you see how far out that point comes from the actual ship base there.
Yeah.
Now, black dice roll in a very short sort of range.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that point goes out further than what black dice do. If that's got black dice in the front, that means that ship can overlap a ship, but still can't roll black dice at it.
Yeah.
That was too
Imagine
close.
a little Corvette just sitting under that tip there, but it's still out of black dice range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very interesting.
I know, I sit there, I think of this stuff, but yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, yeah, that would be.
That'd be interesting. We're
That
not
would
quite,
be interesting,
we're not quite
wouldn't
sure
it?
of the
Luke.
dice yet, but
Luke, I think you're going to need a Christmas tree's worth of fibre optics if you want to do that thing.
yeah, yeah.
More
Yeah,
power
it's
to
gonna
you.
be a
I
lot.
want to see it when you do it, but Jesus.
Oh yeah, do it, mate. We want to see it.
Yeah.
That would
Absolutely.
be awesome.
Just replace. Just don't even get a Christmas tree that year.
So-
Just stick that down. Put the presents under the Star Destroyer.
So your standard Armada ship has 4 arcs. This
Yes.
will have 6 arcs. And instead of your normal Armada ship can fire twice, this fires 3 times.
Okay.
So you have to
Although,
fire.
look, actually looking at the arcs, I'm not actually that scared by that because if you have a look, you got that little triangle on the front, you got
Yeah.
that side arc. The chances of getting 3 arcs on one ship is going to be really,
Really
hard.
hard, yeah.
I don't think it can be done,
No.
depending on the angle, but it just means that it's probably going to shoot 2 into one ship, then hey, there's a ship on the other side, let's shoot that too. That's probably more like what it's going to be, I think.
Robert, I'm not reading your post because that is wrong and stop that. Stop that.
I mean, if
No, we still gotta get Clone Wars into
yeah.
Armada first, Rob.
That's it.
And you need a second edition. Everything gets a second edition
That's
now.
it.
Everything
So-
gets a second edition. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, the first thing they do is ban the Superstar Destroyer.
You'd be waiting like another 4 years.
5
for-
X-Wings,
you're
4
waiting-
X-Wings.
You'd be waiting for 4 years to get a conversion kit for it for Armada 2.0.
And then 3.0's out, mate.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So let's
Yeah.
go through the actual cards. Shall we?
Yeah, let's have a look. I've got a picture of
So
the cards,
we-
so we can barely see them.
So they went through a couple of things through it, and that was the main thing was the attacks and the hull, and it can be used in a 400-point game. So what we can see in the cards. That the community has pointed out, and I've seen as well, is that there's two commanders. There's Admiral Piet and the Emperor as well. You've got your officers as well as you've got Emperor, the Emperor as well, and then you've got Krennic as well. Someone pointed out as well Gallius Rax. That's if anyone knows, that's a character from the Lost Stars books. Definitely there's other officers there as well, but you barely can't see there.
Yeah, we really can't see a lot of
No.
this. It's like the picture I've got up isn't really that good. It's just stuff people are taking photos,
Yeah.
screenshots of the screen.
Correct.
And we're all stretching really
So,
hard there, but
yeah, so-
one thing I noticed is this the first expansion that Imperials get XI7s in.
I think so, yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
So the Imperials finally get an XI7 expansion.
Yeah, but that's what kits are all about. So yeah, basically the cards that everyone knows is flight control and veteran gunners, boarding engineers, rapid lunch bays, and all 4 fleet commands, XI7s and high capacity ions as well is in there as well. So
I wonder how many dials has this thing got?
apparently someone's saying possibly 4 dials.
4 dials?
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly 4.
That's the thing I'd like to know. Like 4 command dials, like you get to set commands twice, and that's it.
That's it.
I suppose you got skilled first officer, and you got other ways of getting discarding dials, I guess. But
Realistically, though, how often is this thing going to die in a normal game? Like, with that much health and that much shields and everything? That's
it
not really
comes
the
down
goal
to
on Armada.
comes
is
down
it?
to its cost.
Yeah.
And it comes down to what you can have with it.
Yeah.
And if you've got something that can fire like lots of attacks, like I reckon a fleet of TRC corvettes could probably bring
absolutely.
this thing down because what you got? You got 2 braces, 2 redirects, 2 contains. It looks like maybe.
So 2 braces, 2 redirects, and 2 contains.
Possibly.
So that's
it's not gonna suffer.
It's going to be a lot of points, and
It's got a lot of place to redirect to, but at the same time, look, everything's still limited, and then it gets activated.
it looks like it's got 6 shields at the front and then 3 on the side.
3 on the side,
Yeah.
so you can get through 3
It can.
shields. And,
Yeah, it's going to be slow, and if you can get most of your forces in one quadrant,
Yeah.
okay.
You
and
can.
with this too, you're really going to bring things like Intel Officer on this thing because you could really get rid of some tokens on this thing.
Yeah.
That there are ways you could make this thing in Darth Vader, he's got so many tokens.
Yeah.
That and Vader. But
So yeah, and then it's got 4 titles by the looks of it as well. So of course the Executor looks like it's one of them. And of course there's multiple SSDs in canon and expanded universe that could be used. Again, we're not quite sure. There's a couple of unread cards that we're not quite sure what it is. There's 9 attack dice at the front by the looks of it.
that's a lot of dice.
That's a lot of dice at the front.
Actually, not really, because ISD is only 8 dice.
Yeah,
So 9 dice. I suppose
that's-
we've got to chuck on spinal, so you got negative 10.
yeah.
Pretty good, I guess. Yeah, that is really good.
It's saying a black-blue squadron, anti-squadron, so it's not.
I'm honestly surprised this doesn't have like 3 dice anti-squadron or
Yeah.
something. I thought it might have had a bit more, or I don't know. But then again, do you really want to? If you put too much anti-squadron on it, yeah, like sure, in real life, this ship could probably handle it. But
Just going back to your titles for a second, just pulling out some EU nerd
Yeah,
shit.
the-
here we go,
San
EU nerd.
Isard,
Yes.
in the X Wing
Yeah.
level, she had the SSD hidden on Coruscant.
Yes.
Or was
Yeah.
it the Lushenko?
The Senka, yes.
Senka,
So
yeah,
you'd
yeah,
imagine that would have to be one, even though Disney doesn't like canon anymore.
Well,
Possible.
ISARD
Not read
is in Armada and in
Well,
X-Wing as well
yeah,
too.
true. That's why I was leaning towards that.
So
but
it-
just given the second edition releases so far, a lot of old EU's been thrown out for
True.
new stuff. So I'm just curious.
There could,
Yeah.
It could be, as I said, Gallius Rex's SSD. I'm not quite sure what the name of that one is. Anything from the Battle of Jakku.
Oh, yeah.
The SSD that fell on that
There's
one.
about 6 of those left
Yeah,
over by then
so-
or something, wasn't
Oh, there you go. If they could crash one on Jakku, it means we can crash one on the table.
So, yeah, there is lots of stuff. I'm absolutely happy for.
Just overload Pulse Avenger it.
Yes.
Problem solved.
Yes, Luke found out that the hard way on Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, for the price tag that you're looking about $300 or so Australian.
2 core sets.
Is it? Yeah. Wouldn't you know it though? A certain shop owner has already worked this out for us. If you save, what was it, $1.50 a day between now and the release date, you will have enough money for it. There's enough time, $1.50 a day.
That's it.
Yeah, a certain shop owner over there worked it out for all his customers.
But I think
A former maths teacher.
it's worth it.
Yeah, former maths teacher. So.
It's worth it. This thing sitting on a shelf would look absolutely
true.
beautiful.
Especially with the rest of the
The
fleet.
cards as well. There's some really useful cards in there. And you can use it for, it doesn't need to be in an epic game. It can be used in a 400-point game.
Did they announce a Rebel equivalent to that? Like, I mean, there wasn't any in
No.
there. What takes that thing down? Like, what's the
Actually,
equivalent?
no. There is. I got a card sent over. Rebels are actually getting expansion, and it is going to be able to beat it. Let me bring it up. This one got sent to me.
There you go.
There we go. Arvel. Arvel. That's all the Rebels need to bring it down.
Go. Get out of it.
That's it. Arvel. So, Arvel's pole ability. During the squadron phase, if you are not engaged and range 1 of a Super Star Destroyer, you may sacrifice yourself to remove 1 Star Destroyer from play. 26 points.
That seems fair.
So that seems about fair.
Oh, no.
Yep. So Rebel, you get this
I'm
big
gonna send all-
$200. You get this big $300 SSD. Rebels are getting like a $20 squadron expansion pack, and
No, I'm going to send all my fighters towards him. I'm going to kill it, destroy it, get out of
you
it.
do that. I'm going to bring Arvel and nothing but Hawks and make everything heavy, and then just move him over.
I quite like that, Ian. I set him up, you crash A-Wings into him.
Yep, exactly.
We pay the big bucks and then you just send an A-Wing just to destroy him. But I believe what will happen is, I take precedence from last year's Gen Con report, when Armada nothing was really spoilt for Armada, and then Wave 7 dropped the week after. So I think what's going to happen is they left Gen Con in-flight report for the biggest thing, the piece of resistance, the SSD, and I think, mark my words, there'll be another like a Wave 8 or and they'll drop Rebel stuff there. So I believe that's what's going to happen. So don't be afraid for Armada players if you're a bit salted that there's only one Imperial expansion. I think it's just one of these single release like epic ships. Wave 8 will come very shortly. They just wanted to save the SSD for the in-flight report and saying, look at this is our creme de la creme. We'll save our other news that we have for a week after, so everyone's going to hype down from there. They could have released the Wave 8 stuff earlier, but they said no. We'll keep on target with the SSD like Wave 2.0, and mark my words.
That's the sort of tactics they use at like E3 and stuff, video games. Like it's
Here
big,
you go.
but it's
Rob
not,
Rob sent the picture in. People spreading Twitch in the chat there.
Yeah.
There you go. That's somebody holding it.
Yeah.
So that's how big it is. I know. I think I'm twice his size, so I'd probably just half.
Need a banana for scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I'm twice his size, so it might not look as big in my hands. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's that one there.
Not really sure if it's on your radar or your agenda, but do you want to talk about the Legion stuff as well? I do a bit of I dabble. If you want.
Yeah,
If
sure.
people are interested.
There we go. That's the box
That's
that
the
comes
box
in.
art.
That picture on the box really does not do it justice.
So yeah,
That just looks horrible.
on Friday for America, and on Saturday we'll get the actual news article, and we'll hopefully get some cards spoiled then. But in the meantime, that's what we saw. Ian and I are very excited that we actually got some news.
Yeah, some actual news.
So take that, Robert. As an Imperial player, I'm absolutely excited. As an Armada player, I'm also excited because even if it was just Rebel jank, I'd be still excited because we actually got some news.
Yeah.
Witness me.
Just yeah,
yes.
and you know, and we're both excited. We've got something, and don't fit for Rebel players. Something will come.
Yeah,
Hey, look, I'm a Rebel player, and you know what? I'm probably going to buy this
Yeah.
just because it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll have cards you can
Realistically,
use in
it
it as
does,
well.
because
That's
sorry?
how it always works. It'll have cards in there you can use.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
That's
you
it.
could probably fit one of those on a 400-point list by itself, so I'll probably bring that and just fluck on the table and say, yep, here we go, let's go.
Well, those,
I'll play Empire today. Here's my
as many
SSD.
TIE fighters as you can get.
This thing can fit in a 400-point list. That's what the presenter said. This can be used in a normal game of Armada.
That's nice of them to mention.
So there can be. Yeah.
Now, I bet you probably can. You could probably build a 400-point list just on this
Oh,
ship.
for sure.
Yeah.
By the time you fill all its upgrade slots, you could probably do that.
Next question: how do you store it? How do you get it? Because you've got your storage. Did you guys think of that yet? Get its own box.
I'm sure
plenty-
Bunnings and tactics at Bunnings, they're way ahead of the curve when it comes to storage for Armada
I've
product.
been watching.
Don't worry.
Gen Con.
I'm sure they're watching Gen Con
right?
and they're designing new tactic storage boxes.
Yeah.
course they have.
I have my own shipping container coming on its way. So. Remember, we laughed when we
Yeah,
said that we were going to have to bring one, but now it is.
Oh,
so,
yeah, I should bring out that
Bring the
toolbox
whole
picture.
fleet.
So
Yeah.
we'll touch a bit on Legion as well.
Yeah,
just
Legion. We
briefly.
got a Legion player, so I may as well do some Legion. That'd be
I
something
haven't
new
played
for us.
as much as I was gonna leading up to it. I still haven't had much of a chance. Moving house, life, painting, all that sort of stuff. I'm debating if I can stay into both now that second edition's a thing. I
Yeah.
might need to go just Rebel, something like that. But yeah, so we got a little bit of some news out of that. So Chewbacca as a commander, I think it was a commander.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a commander. Okay.
The Wookiee Commandos.
Yeah, Wookiee Commandos as just a regular unit, specifically not a special forces unit, as far as I can tell. So that's interesting. You can use them as your frontline grunts.
Yep.
You've got specialists
Yep.
upgrades, which are
Imperial-
generic commanders,
Yes.
Yeah.
which would be quite interesting. It's an interesting space. There's 4
Imperial
models in
Rebel.
those. Yes. There's like an Imperial officer, a Rebel officer, a medical droid for both, a astromech droid for both, and some sort of other specialist of some description.
They really are recycling everything out of
Imperial Assault?
Imperial Assault.
Well, funnily enough, the Rebel is actually from the core set for Imperial Assault.
Yeah.
Gideon Argus was his name.
Yeah,
in
the
that.
one you
Yeah,
played.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Played
He's
the
pretty
game.
cool.
Haven't played for ages.
So you got all those. You got Chewie. You've got the that, and also Clone Wars coming. So droidicas, battle droid,
Droidicas.
lines and
They're
lines of
not
battle
matched for
droids.
droidicas.
Yes.
Master Destroyers.
Now, but whoever can figure out how to model the shield around them or something, like, yeah,
That'd be nice.
that would be really cool, wouldn't it? So
Actually, if you know how to, if anybody knows how to blow glass,
there you go.
you could do it. It wouldn't be that hard. Just get a glass.
Just keep the bottom flat.
I haven't seen it for ages, but I used to have guys who used to sit in supermarkets and used to do like rose petals and stuff. Blowing glass. Do you remember those guys?
yeah.
When was the
They
last
can
time
get
you
some
saw
new
one of them?
work. Droidica shields.
Yeah,
done.
join the shields. Yeah.
You make $1 million.
Yeah, oh man, that's been years since I've seen a guy do that. Like, they used to do the markets too. Like, they just get a piece of glass and they just
Yeah, spin
sort of
it.
stretch and
Yeah.
blow it. But yeah, glass, that would do it. But
It's a very good idea.
very,
Though,
very fragile.
very hard to transport. And then when you flip the table and
Okay.
you lose,
Can you-
it's a smash.
Can you 3D print clear plastics, or does it really come out? Does it?
Depends. I can't, but it's
You can't?
it's
Yeah,
doable. But yeah,
doable.
resin. Actually, resin. You could do if you had a
You can
resin
do a clear
printer. You can do that. Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Or you just get like a tennis ball and just hold it out and just get some type of clear silicon and just run around inside and dry and.
Imagine the
There's options, guys. If you want
There's ways
shields, you can do it.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Imagine the transports and they open up and the droids come out.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
a bit too much. But
Well,
that'd be
that
awesome.
raises a question as well. A lot of people wanted the LAAT gunship,
Yeah.
like the clone dropship gunship thing.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know how that scales, like compared to say something like a airspeeder, like the other aerial unit we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Whether or not that would be possible. It'd be great terrain. Crash one of those in the middle of your table would be beautiful. Yeah, I could do that.
Crashing on a table, that makes it, yeah.
Speaking of vehicles like that, I've been hanging out for like an Imperial equivalent flying vehicle because like that's what we've got. There've been allusions in the rules to droids, to tracked vehicles, to tanks and stuff like that. So the Rogue One tank, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You guys have seen Rebels, obviously. You know
Yeah.
those dropships the Imperials have,
Yeah.
like the TIE front
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Kind of want one of them for Legion. I reckon it would fit perfectly.
I reckon
I
that
think it would
will
happen.
happen.
Yeah,
I'd
absolutely.
say so.
I'd say so too.
It'd be a
yeah.
fun model to make and to paint and customize and stuff. But yeah, I really need to get my head back in
It's
that
always
game.
be nice to see one of those in X Wing, but they're not really a space
No,
ship.
they're not.
No,
supposed
no,
to.
it
They're
wouldn't fit in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but you know we do
You
play
win
on
those.
the rank. The ships all do fly on this. Yeah, so we just say, oh yeah, we're having an air battle today, are we? We'll get like one of those tanks mates out.
I'm going to go on a tangent now, but I kind of wish that was a thing. You could declare if a battle in X-Wing was a ground battle or a space battle, because Ground battle, TIE Strikers, best ship in the game all of a sudden. TIE Fighters, useless. Yeah? And then...
Well, the problem you have with that is there is
Strikers
no way
legend.
to there is no way to edit your ship in such a way like you can't decrease its difficulties and that's the stuff.
It would be too hard.
You know, it'd be too hard to do that. Like it'd be interesting.
Custom rules. Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
it'd be interesting, but look, it's too much of a can of worms to really work out.
So that's the big Legion news at least. Like there's a whole bunch of other expansions. I'm still in the middle of catching up on, like the gun emplacements and things like that. That are going to be very interesting, but that's old news now. So, so fun stuff coming.
Yeah, no, it was really good FFG. I kind of predicted that the Wave 2 stuff or X Wing 2.0 was going to come out, and the SSD was some fantastic news. And
Streams. Surprised we didn't see more about the app actually. There's even a
Probably 'cause the
preview
app
or
doesn't
something.
work.
Yeah, knowing software development.
Yeah.
It won't
Yeah.
work till the night of, which is going to be fun.
Exactly.
or
But,
later.
Yeah,
push it back.
but on top of that as well, if the app was a bit more ready, I was kind of also hoping for some sort of like Corellian conflict equivalent for X Wing. Maybe that'll come with Epic as well. Maybe that's the big tie-in. The app can do AI. They've got options.
I was going to say, what's that?
The kits and that.
No, what's that thing everyone plays? Heroes at True Cluster.
Yeah,
but
There you go, you got that. Apparently everyone can access that's great. But
it is. Yeah, it's awesome.
I haven't played it yet.
There's a really cool variant of it where you are Imperial and you have a Gazanti, and that comes on every mission with you, and you need to keep it alive as well as do your mission. That's fun. Yeah, that's really cool. It's like they call it Battlestar Polaris or something. Like it's Battlestar sort of.
Oh, that'd be right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, you got to keep something alive, so it makes you feel.
That's always your core objective, but you still got to go out and do your things. You start in the middle of the table, deploy out. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You should give that a go sometime, guys.
Yeah.
7 viewers, nice.
Oh,
Awesome.
sure it'll happen.
Now we get the 7 viewers.
Yeah.
So welcome everyone.
Everyone's waking up. That's
That's
why.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing for IA.
Yeah, but
the
they-
game is
they-
dead as far as I'm concerned.
No, they
Yeah,
got
They
the
got the low
Thrawn
pack.
yeah, all
They
the
got another
Thrawn
expansion
stuff.
coming. Look,
They announced about early.
I think everyone knew it was dead when Legion was announced.
Well, I've got both.
Yeah.
I don't play much Imperial. It's the sort of thing with Imperial side, I'm just sort of hanging on to it. Like, a lot of people sold it. I'm just hanging on. Like, one day, when I have kids, God forbid, it's something I can teach them to play. You know, it's a campaign thing. You can sit there. You know, that's what I'm.
Don't worry about
That's
it.
what I'm hanging on for.
We've done it. It'll happen to you, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
life will suck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you get time to play X-Wing.
Teach them IA. Teach them X Wing.
Yeah,
Teach
teach
them.
them X-Wing.
It's better, probably better than
my little girl's
AI.
ready to play. She's.
Yeah.
I have to wait though till they get the new expansion out because she loves playing Ray. So I don't really want to play any more 1.0 with her because I'd rather get her into 2.0. So I've got to wait now for the new Ray to come out. So
I wonder how
she
many
can play
force
Ray.
charges Ray's going to have. And I wonder how good she's going to be, what her ability is.
Oh,
That's actually something I didn't think about before, because that's obviously conversion kit's going to have that, and the bomber. The bomber's going to be totally different.
yeah, that's gonna be a can of worms, isn't it? I want the bomber to finally have a cruise slot now and can't take the beam. That'd be good.
New
Rob,
Zealand's
what do you want on the bomber? What do you want to see on the bomber, Rob? You're the bomber.
Resistance
You're the
bomber.
bomber.
Resistance bomber, yeah.
I don't mind that thing, actually. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh, have I flown against you the Rob's list with the two bombers, the two bombers, the K wing, and a lot of cluster bombs.
That sounds terrible. And
It is
also,
Oh, it is.
It is terrible.
It is. It really is. It's beautiful. Yeah, I was playing it for a bit there, so I might actually take that to store chance if my Guri harpoon list isn't working.
fair enough.
So yeah.
He's Guri harpoon. His harpoon's not working on Guri.
Oh, jam.
Oh.
Jam's the problem.
Yeah.
That bloody jam.
No, IA's still got its place. It's still, I think, definitely more as a board game than as a competitive thing nowadays. Like, there's not much else going on. Just briefly as well, not Star Wars, but still FFG. Did you see that card game they announced?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who made
Okay.
Magic?
Yeah,
It's,
the guy from Magic, yeah.
Yeah, there's no booster packs and there's no deck building. You buy a deck, it's random. It's used as this big algorithm. Every deck is unique. The cards in them may not be, but the deck
Can you then
itself,
go and make your own deck with cards you have? or
because the
you have
backs
to-
of them are all like the same in a set, it's all randomly generated. They use this big algorithm to figure it out. So technically, they're all meant to be playable. Whether or not that turns out to be the case, who knows? But
Here is our game. You play our game. This is our game. This is our rules. You play our game.
well, yeah,
No
but
room for freedom of
yes,
thought here.
in the way you make the deck work. The game itself looks a bit like Hearthstone, if you've ever played that. It's like the PC Battle Blizzard card game. It's pretty simple.
Oh,
I've seen it described as Magic without the bullshit.
Okay.
And the core set comes with 2 random decks and some tokens and stuff, and that's all you need. So you go out, you buy another deck if you want. You like it, great. You don't, whatever. You don't have to go fishing for millions of cards.
Yeah, so instead you have to go fishing for random decks.
Or random one card. Yeah, you just got a whole deck, guys.
A whole deck. You gotta find a whole deck.
It's funny because I wouldn't normally be interested in this sort of thing. I'm kind of more interested in the philosophy behind it. Apart from, obviously, they're trying to make money and more of it. But there's no dice, there's no other gimmick. That is the gimmick.
Yeah.
Kind of looks interesting. I don't know. I might, and that's the thing, you buy one deck, you don't like it, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the reason why I stopped playing Destiny, because
Same.
more expansions.
It just that just came out way too quickly, like just too much too quickly.
Yeah.
And that was the problem I had.
Yeah,
with
it
that.
died off. I don't think they released it much for a while. And
It's still pretty
still
steady.
stuff-
Still
yeah,
steady,
still
and
stuff,
people in Melbourne play it still
Yeah.
a fair bit. But
Yeah.
I got out of it pretty early, which I'm glad I did. But yeah, this guy, I think it's Key Forge. I don't know.
Yeah,
It looks interesting at the very least, and it's made by a guy who did Magic, so there's got to be some brains behind it.
Got something in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Cool.
So Rob wants a crew and a gunner on Resistance Bomber. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can
Makes
see
sense
that.
because it did have a crew, it had crews and it had gunners. So
Actually, okay, so the bomber in the movies, it's armed to the teeth, so to speak. Like, it's got turrets everywhere, right?
don't do much.
No, they don't. But what if, and again, I'm just on a bit of a hear me out, because who knows the second edition, right?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Rather than giving it a bow tie turret, give it 2 actual arcs. 2 separate attacks, even if they're just 2 dice.
Yeah, but that's no different to the
Shadowcaster.
Outrider and to Shadowcaster and to YT 1300. They all had 2 twin turrets, so if they got those going opposite ways. Well, if anything, I think their turrets were less. I don't know. Did they have much shooting side to side? They were more like one was the back.
Yeah, there's the bottom, there was the top. So it was basically a B-17 bomber. There was ball turrets everywhere. So rather than having 2 that are like linked, like because you think the Millennium Falcon's turrets, like it makes sense for them to sort of be opposites, right? And that's why the bow tie comes in. I mean, obviously, nothing's stopping them from both pointing in the same direction. Gameplay-wise, doesn't really work. But thematically, I think with the Resistance Bomber, that works a bit better because you've got several independent turrets. They've got the means to do that sort of thing now, is all I'm saying, I guess. So if it's an option, they'll do it, I think. Even if they're just 2 dice, like just having those on there. And the thing in the movie, obviously, it didn't work for them. They should have just brought Y-Wings. Would have made more sense. But the...
Y-Wings are outdated, so that's why they had to upgrade
60
to
years
slower.
old by then, aren't they?
Yeah, they had to upgrade to slower moving, easier
Less shielded.
targets.
Yeah, it's... When one
But then
goes
again,
out-
when you rewatch the movie, I think in the end, the only reason why they went down is because I think a TIE fighter crashed into one.
and they'd already armed the bombs as well, and then that set the chain reaction off because gravity in space, and they hit each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. Like the theory behind that sort of formation and those crossed guns and stuff, it was a World War II tactic. So, like they used to crossfire formation in first edition. Sort of was trying to do that, but just having overlapping arcs or some ability with that to make running multiples of them. Synergistic, I guess, would be cool.
Yeah. But they are a bomber. If you really need much to do in terms of gunnery stuff, you really want doing bombing stuff.
True, but they need to be able to keep themselves alive. But again, maybe they'll just
That's
get
what the A-Wings are for.
Maybe they'll just have 10 hull in this, and every card's a crit. You just got to army bombs 1 turn or as an action, and then it
Or
just
if a tie goes through and it's bombs armed, blows up.
collisions. You can have a lot of fun with it. So
That would be something. In some ways, it's almost nice if you could put that in the game somewhere, like bump and die.
I had an idea for a mission a while ago. I still want to do it. The assault on Edu from Rogue One. So when they're flying through the rock cabins. So you have the platform at one diagonal end of the board.
Yep.
You have the hangar off to the side and a whole bunch of rock formations. If you hit it, and you roll an eyeball, the idea is that your X-Wing or whatever has gone over the rock formation, hit the radar, and they get a free target lock on you that every ship can use. If it's a hit, you take 2 crits. If you get a crit, you're just dead. And there's just a ton of rocks, and you got to make it to the end, attack the thing, and run away.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. I sketched that out. I've got because I could 3D print the rock spires, and I've got ideas for the rules and stuff, and you can have strikers.
You've got
and
many
fighters.
ideas.
I've got too many ideas and not enough action.
That's it, yeah.
So need more action.
You got plenty of time to sit and think about this stuff.
Yeah, but no time to execute it.
I was thinking about that run, actually, the whole Edu run in the movie, and I was thinking, what was the purpose? Because if they went to go there to destroy the base, they didn't destroy the base.
No, it really didn't. They didn't even take out the shuttle.
They didn't. Even, that's the thing that
shuttle's
really
still
annoys me.
there.
How the heck did they miss the shuttle on the platform?
They blew the middle of the platform.
It's like once that turret blew, I was like, okay, yeah, let's go.
Precise rebel bombing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, at the end it actually blew up. Like
The whole base
Yeah,
did
the
blow
whole
up.
boat.
It did blow up.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
As they're
Yeah.
running, I watched it the other day.
Yeah.
Just as they're running
Just
away.
running
Just
away.
there. Oh, okay, so it did destroy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd have the turbo laser in it as well, so it could see like the firing lines through the rock. So if you want to have a bit of an easier run, you can take the turret on, and then if you miss the rock, the turret gets a target lock on you.
Yeah.
And
all
you're gonna
you-
make it at 50% of your
And all you
force.
need is turret on one thing, just going.
Yeah, the little miniature guys stand on the rocks there. So.
Yeah.
Boom, gets a tie.
Yeah, you
rocks
get like
out.
this whole big massive turret, sitting at the end there, and you have like Churro, and then he's just if the TIE fighter gets within range one of him,
Yeah.
it just dies.
Does.
So I
Just
just saw
dies.
Robert's comment from before on
Yep.
the Resistance bomber. The bottom turret was the only 360 one. The others were 120. So whether or not you split the base on it up even more and have it so different quadrants again, it could be getting too complicated.
Yeah,
it's not
if it was
consistent.
armed like the movie BOP for sure.
It's
You
weird
could
that the
have,
bottom turret's 360 though, given that it has the big the clip down the bottom. Apparently those in canon those are interchangeable, so they can just take that whole clip of
cool.
bombs
Really?
and they put other modules and stuff in. Apparently,
So they can
So-
stop for proton bombs and seismic
yeah,
charge
all
down
that sort
to
of stuff.
continents.
Yeah. Well, or even more guns or cargo, anything like that. So,
right.
but it's weird that then if the 360 turret's on the bottom, it's going to turn around and just see the bomb thing.
Well, yeah, it needs to be 360. It's probably going to cover a larger area. If you've got turrets at the top, it's probably covering.
Well, usually the top one would be 360. That's what they did in World War II. I used to do a lot of World War II flight simulators,
Yep.
and one of my favourite things was put the AI on autopilot and just sit in one of the gunner spots and shoot down the ships coming for you. Biggest problem with that is not shooting your tail off, your own tail. So, I could
Hey, hit us, son!
given how prone to explosions
They
those things
got
were
us.
in the movies, you hit that clip, boom, you're all dead. So,
Yeah.
just,
For your
fire.
clock, Dad!
yeah.
No!
But there's interesting design space that could be explored there, and especially given that Resistance and the First Order don't have much yet,
Yep.
why not give them something different and unique and interesting?
Because that would be silly.
Yes. Well, it was when we got the Epsilon shuttle, it was it's just a Lambda but black with 4 attack dice.
And coordinate.
Yeah, so in second edition, it won't have 4 attack dice. I bet you about $1 million right now. It'll play
I
more.
don't know.
It'll just be like a slightly more efficient shuttle. Because now it's not competing with the Lambda anymore. It's its own faction. It's its
Yeah,
own
true,
thing.
true.
Right.
So it'll probably do a lot of the same stuff
Yeah,
as
sure.
it, but it'll have tech upgrades, which could synergize with some crew. Don't know. There's a lot of options.
I wonder now that you don't have Emperor Palpatine, can now go into now you don't have Emperor Palpatine going into the
Snoke.
First Order. Will we have a 2 crew Snoke?
Maybe. What's Kylo Crew going to do now? He won't do the damage deck shenanigans again. I can
Yeah,
guarantee
think
it.
so? No?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Oh, same with his pilot ability. He'll have X amount of force charges as well. Could be 3, could be 2.
Yeah.
Be curious if you know how much the forums will riot if Rey has 3 force and Kylo has 2, or if she's I6 and he's I5. Can you imagine how? Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who think there's a lot of rebel bias over there. Well, technically, it's now going to be resistance bias. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah,
Different.
resistance bias is different. It's different.
No, but so I just keep talking.
Yeah, you feel it.
I don't. You give me a soapbox.
That's it.
We
I'm going to make the most
can
of
fill
it.
into
That's it.
time.
Yeah.
So then we won't get you back for 6 months.
Yeah,
so,
that's
Yeah. Now that we have First Order, we have Resistance, we have Scum, we have Scum's a bit of a catch-all now as well. All areas, all everything. We have clones, we have Separatists. It's 7 factions. Do you think Rebel and Imperials are done, finished? In terms of new ships, or definitely not in terms of upgrades, but what other ships are there? Because the new content that's coming out, we're going to get new Clone Wars stuff.
Aces packs.
Well, yeah, new part, yeah, for sure, but there's going to be no new ships for a while. I don't think there's going to be. You've got all of the new shows coming out. You've got Resistance, like the cartoon.
Yep.
You've got that TV series. You've got Episode 9. You've got the Clone Wars series now coming into it again. So they're going to be dipping in the vat for years now. They're allowed
I
to.
presume there'll be more anthology films where they can fill the void in that too.
True.
So they'll always
Yeah,
be
but in
stuff.
those films are just going to have
And
the
then
same
there's
shit.
comics as
Well,
well.
thinking that again though, you got Solo. We can talk about Solo, yeah. Everyone's seen Solo now. Yeah.
You haven't seen
the
Solo.
only new
Get out.
and most of the ships in that, if any, are all Scum, except for the TIE Brute or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
the TIE Heavy.
Which we'll get that eventually, but
Yeah.
which I would have rathered over the Mining Guild TIE. Which just saying. You could have Calculate. It's got like an AI. Anyway.
Yeah. That's another story.
So, with that, thinking of the other anthology films that are to come, you've got probably a Boba Fett, probably an Obi-Wan. Has there been any others in the pipelines?
Well, I don't think you're going to see much in terms of space combat.
Exactly, and you're not going to. If
So
you
you're
do
not
see
getting
ships,
spaceships.
they're not going to be under Rebels or Imperials for
No.
either of those movies.
No.
So they're going to get more scum stuff.
If they do, they're just going to do the safe thing and put in the iconic ships. They're not going to
Yeah.
really give you new ships.
Oh, they'll do
And-
the quad jumper thing. 5 seconds of it and go boom.
Yeah.
There's a ship right
No,
there.
exactly.
Yeah,
There's your scum. There you go. That'll
There's-
settle.
there's
That'll,
your scum.
that'll keep you happy for a year.
That's it.
So between all of that, I don't see them adding a new ship to Rebels or Imperials for a long
Well, they
time.
probably won't, because if they're re-releasing everything's going to be new wave now. It's going to re-release the same
New
ships,
pilots
just
of
with-
all of those, I reckon.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the re-releases. Actually, that's another thing. They didn't talk about definitively how they're doing the other waves with the card packs and stuff. How that's going to work.
Don't know.
I was kind of hoping to define that because they have said that there'll be
Yeah.
card packs and
Well,
that's what the conversion kits come with. There's a little baggie that has
That's
the
the
first
thing.
wave stuff in
Yeah.
it.
But that's the thing that kind of shits me, is that means we're going to have to keep on buying conversion packs for the new waves.
Yeah.
See, I was really hoping these conversion packs would have everything we need to have, and then we'd have to keep buying.
Well, that's
all
why we
that
don't know
shit,
because
but-
we don't know.
Right,
that-
it's a big
the-
reveal.
that's the theory is that
And when they do a new wave, like, because what, A-Wings currently aren't in the new wave, are they? In the first wave?
No.
So when they do a wave with A-Wings, and they do a wave with Hawks as well, you know.
so let's say
are
say
we
they
gonna
do a
need more
wave.
Hawk stuff?
Let's say they do like a redux of wave 3 or something. You get A wings, you get TIE interceptors, you get B wings, and you get what was it, bomber, TIE bomber, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that's wave 3, just shits and giggles,
Yeah.
right? They'd have a card pack. Like everyone owns those ships already, so they'd bring out the ships as they are with themselves. They'll have a card pack, which is going to be like the tourney kits that come in a little like clasped sort of. There'll be something like that. So it's going to be cards. The big question for me is that going to come with dials? Because there's not enough dials in most of the conversion kits. Are we better off waiting rather than trading conversion kits and buying more of them and stuff? Are we better off waiting for these waves if we get one extra dial for each of those ships in those, or is it just going to be cards
No,
and bases?
I don't think they'll give you extra dials. I think all the dials will come in the conversion kits.
But there isn't
I
enough.
don't
That's
think
why,
they'll do.
yeah.
I don't think they'll do conversion kits with dials again. They'll just do card packs.
And there's sort of a precedent for that because in the unboxings for the conversion kits, the separated stuff that comes in just the expansions for that wave doesn't have dials in it. It's just as is, but it could just be because there's tons in the kit already. But it just,
Well, that's
I really
irritating
want to,
then, because then there's another swing and a miss here. Fang Fighter again comes with that afterburners.
Yeah.
But according to Bell of Lost
Can't.
Souls, I don't think it was in the conversion kit, which had the wave stuff in there. Was it?
So you buy the Fang Fighter to get
So
auto.
again, that little baggie is meant to have everything that's supposed to come in the wave 1
Yeah.
stuff. So does that mean we're still not getting
The
another
core set, no, the
afterburners?
core set's got afterburners in it.
Yeah, but you're gonna want
You get
more than
one. Oh, shit, yeah.
You'll want 2 of
Shit,
those.
yeah.
You probably want even more.
That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I want to run 5 interceptors all with afterburners if I can. Like, yeah.
No, you're probably gonna be ugly.
Close, you can get a
8
few of
points.
them.
It's like I tried. Actually,
It's good.
My Guri list at the moment does not have that on it.
I reckon it's.
Just for the simple fact, it's 8 freaking points.
I'm
and it's a
stapling it
lot
to wedge. I'm stapling it to wedge.
Stapling it to wedge?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you can't take wedge with afterburners, you drop
Oh,
it
you
in
can.
the set
You can
list.
take 2.
No. What I'm saying,
Yep.
if your list comes to 208 points and you're looking for something to scrap, you'll scrap the entire list and keep wedge with afterburners.
Well,
Wedge
playtesting
scratching.
required, but I reckon at dice 6 you need it. If you want to get that bullseye arc happening as well. Oh, no, but actually, Wedge doesn't need it.
Wedge
Hey!
no.
Because
the thing is,
I'm new to the show, for those who don't know, Wedge is my Guri. So
Yeah, Wedge is his Guri.
I'm pretty happy he's cheap now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guri fell wedge.
Cheap date. He's
Yeah.
a cheap date now. I love it.
Well, you want Vader now. You going back to Fel, you reckon?
Oh,
Actually, I'm pretty
I'll
happy
go
with
back to
Fel
Fel now.
too. They're the same price, Fel and Wedge are the same price. But you can run. I reckon you can run Fel naked. I don't reckon self devices.
As I said, I haven't
Wolf's good.
looked at 2.0 a lot. So.
I hate Lone
What are you
Wolf,
doing
to
here?
be honest.
I'm looking. I'm playing 1.0.
He's only playing Armada.
Yeah, no, I
And
understand.
then, and then
Got still
in
champs.
1.0, I'll use Krennic with shield upgrade with Fel, so he's got 2 shields.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fel 2
Yeah.
shields.
And then don't need
Yeah, so
target
Rob,
lock.
I'm taking your bomber list.
And then Vermil, Krennic, strip a shield,
Yeah.
take your tokens off you. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I think we better probably start wrapping up here. We're
Sure.
trying to get
Yeah.
longer too for this
I've
one,
got
but,
a couple of things to say.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got-
I suppose I'll let you guys
Rob,
talk in your own show now, too, hey?
No, it's all good, mate. We're glad
Yeah,
to
no,
have
it's
you.
all good. It's
It's
awesome.
good having guests
Yeah,
on.
that's fantastic.
It's good having guests on.
I'm a guest.
Yeah.
No, he's our X-Wing 2.0 specialist.
Yeah, X-Wing
and
2.0
law.
specialist.
sketchy.
Legion's
And while space.
I'll take Legion because I'm the only one that owns it. So yeah, sure. I've not played enough though.
Anything from the?
So let's see, Rob, Kylo and Rey will have the same force, he thinks.
Yep.
Which I probably agree, because
Yeah,
in theory
I'd
they
say
say
so.
they're equal.
And they're meant to be,
meant
if
to
they
be
aren't, there'd be
equal.
The yin and
riots.
yang
There would
type
be
thing.
literal riots in the streets if they're not,
They
to
would.
be honest.
Same force. Young Skywalker will pilot Naboo Star Viper. Anakin will be 6 with 3 force charges for Republic.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
That's probably the most obvious thing.
Yeah, no reason why he can't.
And Robert with his
And
usual
different
plastic
upgrade.
crack dealership.
Yeah.
Yes, we know that, Rob.
Yeah, we know.
We'll spend money on massive triangles.
We
and-
will.
Massive triangle.
That's all.
I mean,
My wife goes, another triangle? It's like, yes, dear.
Another try.
I got another triangle to my collection.
Yeah.
So
I've got 9 X-Wings. I found out the other day.
You know what's really
9.
funny? What was it? I was looking at the some of the Lego stuff, like the Lego Star
yeah.
Destroyers, the Lego Millennium Falcons. I see those things priced $200, $300, whatever. I think I can't justify that. But the minute FFG drop a plastic SSD, I'm like, I gotta have it.
Yeah.
I gotta have it.
Speaking of Lego, can I pimp my product on your show? Is it
Pick
is
your
it allowed?
product.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go
So,
for it. Go for it.
okay,
Yeah.
so I do 3D printing stuff. I'm just going to hijack this. I've
Advertise.
designed a set of second edition target locks. I'm not sure how good the camera's going to pick this up, but
Take that close.
if you can see, hang on, how about I go?
Yeah.
So you see, it's a little probably not
Little-
focused, but
Yeah, it's sort of, okay.
so it's a little TIE fighter pilot, and it's got a number on the side there.
Yeah.
That's target lock. Then for your ship, you have the matching token on the bottom, so it replaces your cardboard. And then, just to complete the deal, you put in one of these card sleeves that I've done. That has the matching number on it as well, sort of up the top there, if you can see. So number 1, number 1, number 1. So for your generics, you've got a whole bunch of TIE fighter pilots, and I've dropped him. Darth Vader.
Too bad TIE fighters can't target lock.
Well, true, but with
That would be good to have the whole bunch of little target lock.
Tarkin will let you do it in second edition.
Yeah.
Gives you a lock, so that's one option. But also for your generics, your TIE defenders,
TIE bombers.
TIE bombers, that sort of stuff. I've got Vader, I've got Poe, I've got Kylo, I've got X-Wings, I've got A-Wings, the whole shebang. So I'll have an Etsy store up soon-ish with that when I fix my printer that died the other day.
And we'll have links to that when.
Yay,
that all
thanks
gets
guys.
up.
So
we'll
yeah,
definitely pop
there'll
that
be
up.
some cool bling for those who want cool bling, because we all love cool bling.
Yeah.
So
there you go, guys. So keep an eye out for that.
fun little
Very shortly,
idea.
so. Awesome.
And I might even paint some to match Inferno Squad one day.
Awesome.
A bit of red, yeah.
Love it.
Kind of cool. So
Yeah, Rob, I did see Patrick's lovely ships that he's made. I think we'll have to get him on for Assault Corner, I believe, after I saw that. So
Yeah.
hit him up for us, mate. I think we'll have to get him on.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Any last words, Ian, before we rock it?
Yeah, I just want to say, Mars, just remember that no matter how good you think your SSD is going to be,
A-Wings.
this guy, A-Wings, will take it down.
Yeah.
Arvel.
Arvel will take it down.
That's just
You
right.
can't repel
Fake-
Arvel
fake
with that
news.
magnitude.
Fake
Yeah,
news.
Arvel can do it, mate. Arvel can
Fake
do
news.
it. They're going to release Arvel, and he's just going to ram in there, and then...
No.
Although, if you watch the movie, it technically took 3 A-Wings.
Really?
Yeah, because it took 2 A-Wings, came along and destroyed the shield generator, that big pod thing. And then as Arvel's cruising along, one of the X-Wings gets destroyed behind him, and then he rams into it. So it wouldn't have worked unless the other 2 A-Wings hadn't taken out the
There you go.
deflector shields.
Well, you know what? Those aren't actually shields, technically. They're actually the cooling towers for the shield generators. So when they take the towers
Is that what
out...
they are? They're cooling
yeah,
towers?
they're cooling... They're not... Because
okay.
how dumb would it be to put the generators on top? Like, even the Imperials
Yeah,
aren't
I
that
know. I
bad,
feel
right?
like-
They're
first I
actually
thought
cooling
communications.
towers.
Yep.
So when they get taken out, they basically have to turn it off or the reactor explodes. So they have to turn the shields off themselves. So
Oh, wow.
really, they killed themselves.
Well, their shields just weren't strong enough to protect them.
Well, I mean, once you get under and close enough, it only stops projectiles, like
Yeah.
really, really high velocity projectiles, so lasers. So ballistics can go through shields, and that's also how the people, like all the droids, walked through the shield on Naboo.
Yeah.
So if you're close enough to a large enough ship, because depending on where the shield bubble goes out, you can get in underneath.
Shields have always been funny though, really, because
Yeah.
like you say, that you can walk through shields, but X-Wings will impact on the shields of Scarif.
Different shield,
And then-
different type of shield.
Yeah, no, different type of shields. Planetary shields seem to stop everything.
Yeah.
And then
They stop
and then you
multiple
have
bombardments.
like shields. I think you have shields and hangar bays where things can fly out of them.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah, very different again.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, no, I find it funny, you know. I know, is there an encyclopedia on
Yeah.
Star Wars shields?
Yeah.
Probably.
Wikipedia is probably
Wikipedia.
bigger than the Bible, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
All
fun.
right. Anyways, I'll finish off first. I went to Adelaide last weekend to play at their store champs. So I want to give a big shout out to our main man Luke Johnson, for taking care of me while I was down there. We catched up. We had some beers. We had some Palmer meals and some pub meals.
In
And
that order? Or?
Gotta have a palmer.
yeah, I know. After store champs. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, we had a really good time there. And if any of you guys are watching from South Australia and playing Armada, hit up Luke and definitely join their group there at Armada, Adelaide Armada. So great guys there, new group. We're always looking for new players. So if you're an Armada player in Adelaide, definitely hit those guys up and hit Luke up. So I'll give a big shout out to Luke there. Thanks again for all the hosting you did while I was there. So thanks again. So so thanks all for watching tonight. Hope you got a lot of information from our main man here. From
Overload.
Overload.
He go home and sleep.
He overload pulsed us with information there.
I'm discharged.
So yes, Wild
Sonic
Space
discharge.
Fringe Josh, thank you for joining us
Thanks,
tonight.
guys. We've been trying to do this for ages.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
try to get you on for a while.
I was here last time and I got sick. So,
Yeah,
I was
I know.
done. And but we made it happen. So
That's awesome. So yeah, we'll definitely anytime.
thumbs up for Josh.
Yes, anytime, just come on down. We're happy to have you guys, have you down here, and your mate as well. So,
Oh yeah, my young ward.
yes.
Rookie
So-
one.
So hope you enjoyed tonight's content, guys. Remember, if you do like it, just subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell icon
Yeah.
to see any new content that we do put up. Coming up on Saturday, we've got our store champs, Armada store champs, here live at Tez's Games at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we'll post something up tomorrow, I'd say, or later.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And keep an eye out for that.
You can do that, I've got
Yep. So it'll be 3 rounds of Swiss. And that will be starting at 10 a.m. So,
Be a big day.
thanks guys for watching, and remember, subscribe, like us on Facebook, and fly casual.